All right, folks, welcome to game 2 of the weekend with the Delaware Ducks. After a win yesterday against, can't remember who it was against. 4-0 win over Lancaster Firebirds. That's it. Take a look to the same jerseys they had yesterday, the home gray. Looks like we're relegated to a single referee today so far. Alright, so starting lineup today. Lucas, Reed, Denny, with Ricky and Jacob back on defensive end, and Aiden Mott in net. Alright, actually we do have a second referee come in. It's nice to see. Set for puck drop. Puck drop. Back out of the gate. Ducks control. Send it up neutral zone. Back over to Reed. Reed at the center ice. Back underneath of us. Reed comes across blue line. Got Denny on the opposite side. Gets his shot off and goes off a defender's stick. Goes high into the protective webbing. Lucas on the face-off. Puck shot, back over. Denny looking to retrieve it back into the corner. Ducks break out with it. Come across, centering. Drop back down, picked up by Ricky. Ricky looking for Reed. Send it back up to Ricky. Drops it forward. Sent all the way back. Tap forward. Aiden's back over. Leaves it alone. Picked up by Jacob. Got Denny up on the flank. Tried to send it long over to Reed. Picked up by Denny. Denny across the blue line. Drives back down, drops it in the corner, nobody's there, Ducks pick it up, sent all the way up. It's picked up by Denny, back over to Reed. Reed tried to tap. Oh, centering pass goes wide. And they'll go all the way down for an icing call. Teague, Trent, McCooch, Toby and Nolan out on the ice. Puck's dropped back into the corner. Ducks control, sent back, loses it. Trent looks to poke it forward. Pick forward. Back over. Cooch has his stick tangled. Back over to Toby. Toby drops it in. Tried to clear the zone. Now it gets cleared all the way back to Nolan. Picks it up. Nolan drops it back in. By Teague, tap forward, they're going to call that an icing. Teague on the face-off. Puck back in. Get to Aiden. Aiden ices it back out in front. Centering pass, Aiden puts a glove on it. Puck's over, back over to Toby. Toby tried to send it center, it's unable to do so. Picked up by Trent. Trent got McCooch attacking. Centering pass. Jimmy, Connor, Caden on the ice. Same defensive line. Back over to Caden. Caden drops it back to Toby. Gets a shot off. Kick saved into the corner. Ducks try to clear it. Jimmy tried to pick it up. Can't quite do it. Still there, floating. Back over to Jimmy. Jimmy gets his stick lifted. Caden decides to pick it up. Back over to Toby. Toby sends it back up over to Connor. Toby loses it off the stick, comes across the blue line. Drops it back over to Caden. Back out to the point to Nolan. Shot attempt goes wide. Back over to Connor. Connor back in the corner, centering pass. Drop back out to Toby at the point. Back out to Nolan. Nolan knocks it down with his skate, drops it in. Caden on the forecheck. Caden knocks it down after a nice shot attempt. That's picked back up by Jimmy. Jimmy sends it up, tries to clear his own. Glove down by Ducks defender. Now it's picked up by Foster. Foster back into the corner. Drops it back over to Jacob. Jacob trickles it alongside the boards. Gets unanswered. Now picked back up by Evan. Evan cycles back around. Picked back up. That'll be an icing call. Luca, Jake, and Luke. Puck shot back out. Pick tapped up by Jake. Jake back over to Luca. Luca streaking up. Got Nolan on the opposite side. Nolan on the forecheck. Picks the puck up. Looks back over to Jake. Jake gets a shot off. Knocked down. Back over to Luca. Luca looking for some help. Picks it back up to Nolan. Back down into the corner. Picked up by Vuk. Luca sends it back out to the point. Nolan gets a shot off. Gets tipped in front, goes wide. Now it's back up. Ricky charging the blue line. Gets up. Luca back over to Ricky. Ricky gets a shot off. Puck drop back over. Luca with a quick trigger. Back out to the corner. Now it's back out to the point to Nolan. Nolan gets a shot off. Knocked down back into the corner. Picked back up by Boot. Boot back over to Jake. Jake looks. Centering pass. Makes it past defenders. Ricky's back over. Try to get knocked down. Back out to the point to Nolan. Nolan tries to tap it forward. It's unable to do so. Picked up by the Ducks. Now it's knocked back over to Boot. The redirect almost gets to by the goaltender. Ducks back into the corner. Picked up by Ricky. Ricky taps it over to the corner. Back out to the point. Goes opposite side. Shot goes wide. Goes past Aiden. Now it's back out to Denny. Denny tips it forward. Now it's kicked back. Denny picks it up. Back over to Reed. Toby picks it up. Shot attempt. Knocked down. Back over to Lucas. Lucas sends it deep. Picked up by Reed. Reed gets tangled. Lucas. Somebody on his hip. That's back over. Back over to Toby. Lucas tries to knock it down. Back out to Toby again. Centering pass, goes just wide. Knock back. Reed. Got Denny coming strong. Makes its way out to the neutral zone. Back over to Evan, who picks it up. Comes across the blue line. Sent all the way back out to the point. McCooch onto the ice. Back over to Lucas. Pick back up. Sent back all the way to the opposite side to Toby. Scores. Toby's shot with McCooch redirect. So the first goal of the game at the 7:24 mark from Toby to McCooch. Trent, Teague, McCooch, Ricky and Jacob back, one back. Ricky gets it back up, sends it up to McCooch. Teague comes across blue line, it's got Trent. Trent can't control it, back into the corner. McCooch, pressure onto the puck. Centering back over to Trent. And gloved down by the goaltender. Their goal went to Toby. McCooch on the faceoff, one back into the corner by the Ducks, sent to the opposite side, back over to Teague. Teague centering pass, scored! Beautiful backhand by Trent. Center pass by Teague, still bouncing in the air, swipes at it in the air. It's the second goal of the game at the 9:58 mark. Ducks call timeout. Out of the gate. All right, same lineup out on the ice. Trent, Teague, McCooch, with Ricky and Jacob back on the defensive end. Puck drop back over, picked up by Jacob. Jacob looking, side send it back over to Ricky. Ricky, not sure where to go, drops it in after comes across center ice. All the way back behind the net. Trent over to put pressure onto the puck. Ducks come up, send it back out to the point, over to Ricky. Ricky drops it in. Trent on the forecheck, back over. Picks it up, looks for a little help. Backhand by McCooch. Caden, Connor, Jimmy. Back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky sends it deep. Centering pass right to a defender out front of the net. Sent long back into the opposite zone. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob racing back on the back check. Gets over to Connor. Connor Back over to Jimmy. Jimmy tries to get Caden cutting cross center ice, unable to do so, and that's an offside. Puck's dropped, back over, Ducks send it deep. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob opposite side over to Ricky. Ricky goes all the way up. Ducks on a back check. There's it back over, opposite side. Jimmy looks to pick it up, back in the slot. Caden picks up the loose puck in front of the net. Backhand into top shelf at the 8:52 mark. Caden Longo. Jimmy back on the face-off. Puck drop, one back over to Jacob. Jacob across center ice, drops it in. Caden on the opposite side, forecheck, back over. Checked into the board, picked up by Caden. Centering pass back over to Connor. Ooh. Goaltender loses mass.
Team Philadelphia goal scorer number 65, Caden Longo, assisted by number 34, Jimmy.
Puck drop back out to the point. Over to Luca. Tried to get over to Jake. Had Jake right in front of the net. Jake cycles it back over to Luca. Luca taps it to the other side. That was Luke, sorry. Now Luke picks it up. Gets it knocked away. Sent over to the opposite side. Luke back in the front. Now it's back over to Jake. And he scored. Picked up by Luca on a backhand. So Luca DeFrugio with the backhand goal. Puck shot back over. Luca gets it, sends it forward. Picked up by Toby in the corner. Back over to the corner. Picked up at the blue line by Luca. Luke. Intercepted by the Ducks. Aiden knocks it down after a good shot attempt by the Ducks. Back over to Toby. Toby sends it alongside the boards. Got Reed with Nolan streaking up the opposite side. Tried to get by defenders, unable to do so. Reed on the forecheck, back over, comes back out in front of the net. Still played it. Back all the way. Denny gets it. Picked over by Lucas. Lucas opposite side. Reed to Lucas to Denny for the 5th goal of the game at the 7:06 mark. Same lineup. Puck stop, back out. Picked up by Nolan. All the way back out. No icing. Lucas on the forecheck. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas loses it back over in the corner. Denny forces back through. Ducks get the loose puck, centers it. Come across the blue line, unable to gather it. Lucas tries to dribble it around. Toby picks it up behind the net. Got Denny coming up. Back over to Lucas. Puts back forward. Knocked down by McCooch. Picked up by the Ducks. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Trent on the ice. Got T coming up center ice. Back over to Trent. Gets a nice shot off. Puck's dropped back into the corner. Takes a real good bounce off the walls. Picked up. Sent forward. Evan back, 2-on-1. Good defensive pressure by Jacob to get back on the back check. Back over to Evan. Evan tries to send it up the wall. Picked up by Teague. Teague got Trent. Now it's got McCooch coming up. Evan picks it up. Jacob weaves his way through a couple defenders. Oh my gosh, Trent almost with another in-air shot that goes in, and that goes out of play. Sent back, Connor over to get to the puck. Caden back over on the opposite side, gets to the puck. Knocks it back forward, back over to Jimmy, back in the slot. And it's stuck in the defender's pants. Puck's dropped, back out. Over to Evan. Evan holds it at the blue line. Now it comes back out. Over to Jacob. And that'll be an icing call. Puck drop. Connor looks to pick it up. And back into the corner. Jacob looking. Tried to clear it outside the zone. Gets it tipped. That was a hit from behind. No call on that. I would not disagree with that. Connor comes across the blue line. Two players looking to wrestle it out. Now it's almost now it gets outside the zone. Back over to Jacob, opposite side. Sent deep. Ducks pick it up, try to clear it back up. Unable to do so. Still picked up. Back in the neutral zone. Foster sends it over to the opposite side. Picked up by Jimmy. Jimmy loses it back into the corner. Centers it to the opposite side. Ducks pick it up. Loose puck right out in front. Now comes out in the neutral zone. Ricky on the back check to retrieve it. Back all the way to Luca. Luca drops it all the way in. Jake and Vuk off to the ice. Jake on the forecheck back over to the wall. Luca, good pressure onto the puck. Jake over to help out. Picked back up by Luca. Luca back out to the point to Nolan. Circles it back over to Ricky. Ricky. Centering pass. Back over to Vuk. Ricky. Oh, nice redirect by Luca. Goes over the goaltender's head. Jake with a good check from behind. Pick back out. Boot. Centering pass. Had Luca standing all by himself. Nolan back over to Luca. Luca centering pass over to Jake. Pick back up. Back over to Ricky. Ricky drops it back in over to Boot. Boot sends it back over to Luca. Goes underneath his stick. Picked back up by Jake. Jake centers it back over to Boot. Boot. That was a good attempt. Pressure onto the puck. Aiden decides to play it after cradling it. Back over to Luca. Luca gets up Boot coming across ice. Centers it deep. Takes a wicked bounce. Goaltender knocks it down into the corner. Back over to Nolan. Nolan sends it deep. Lucas back on the opposite side. Reed picks it up, gets a shot off. Goaltender knocks it back to the back wall. Picked up by Reed. Reed looking. Good shot by Lucas. Not another shot attempt. Back over to Lucas, back out to Nolan. Nolan drops it back down over to Reed. Lucas tried to get to it. Stick was lifted. Now it's back across. Picked back up by Ricky. Ricky sent up by Lucas. Lucas comes across. Tries to get through a couple defenders. Unable to do so. Sent all the way up. And that'll be an icing call. Puck drop, back over, picked up by Ducks. Lucas looks to get it, toe drag, back around, cycles it back out to the point to Evan. Evan back over to Lucas, circles it back up to Evan. Oh, nice pass. Denny with an almost redirect back to the backside, goes over top of the goal. Lucas controls. Controlled back out to Toby. Toby looks. Scores by Reed. Centering pass, Reed knocks it out of the air from Toby. Puck drop back over, Evan picks it up. All the way back. Sent through. Aiden sends around to the opposite side. Picked up by Toby. Toby tries to swipe it forward. Knocked down at the blue line. Cycle back up to Denny. Denny looking. Gets it over. That should be an icing call. Puck drop back over to Trent. Trent gets it out to McCooch. Now it's back out the neutral zone, 7 seconds. All right, end of one. Team Philadelphia up 6-0. Off some really good passing opportunities. Capitalize on. Interesting conversation on the bench. Not quite sure what's happening. All right, to Teague on the faceoff, back over. Teague drops it forward, back over, looks for McCooch. Sends it deep. Sent around to the opposite side, picked up by Trent. Picked up by the Ducks. Sent it back out. Got back in by Trent. Trent tries to pull it forward. That's back over to McCooch. Teague, opposite side, back over to Ricky. Ricky, centering pass, back over to McCooch. Hayden flings it forward, back over to Teague. Teague loses an edge. Back over to Ricky. Ricky, back center ice. Nice shot attempt. Kick save back into the corner by Aiden. Justin kicks it back up to Trent. Centering pass. Picked up by Teague. Shot attempt goes across Aiden's stick, back to the opposite side. Almost makes it out of the zone. Picked up at the blue line by Ducks. Aiden with a nice glove, knockdown, swipe back into the corner. Kick back up to Trent. Trent gets it out in the neutral zone. Long change for Team Philadelphia. Defensive stance, back over. Opposite side, try to hit 96 coming across the slot. Let's drop back down. Jacob back in the corner, pressure. Let's kick back up. Back out to the point. Aiden with a nice blocker side save. Back over to the corner. Picked up by Caden. Caden back over to Connor. Connor. Picked up. Picked up by the Ducks. Try to get a shot attempt off, unable to do so. Toby. Back out to Jake. Jake over to opposite side, over to Book at the point. Good shot attempt. Goes all the way out to the corner. Nolan picks it up, defends the puck, kicks it on his hip. Picked up by Luca. Luca looking. Back out to Toby at the point. Over to Luca. It's a shot attempt. Jake goes just wide. Picked back up. Aiden shuffles it to the corner. Back over. Called offsides. Running clock at 13:11 in second period. Back over to Nolan. Centering pass back over to Lucas. Back to Denny. Denny gets rid of the puck. Back over to Lucas. Lucas looking. Reed back over battling, picked up by Lucas. Ducks pick it up, sent to neutral zone. Lucas taps it forward. Reed on the forecheck. Effective. Lucas. Back over to Denny. Denny gets teamed up against the wall. Sent to the opposite side. Lucas tried to retrieve it, send it out to the point to Toby. Gets around him. Hayden with a nice save. Sent back over to Reed. Reed makes his way through a couple guys. That's a trip coming up. Picked up by Denny. All the way back out to the point. Aiden clears the goal, adds a 6-man on. Back over to Reed. To Lucas. Back out. Delayed penalty coming up. Opposite side over to Foster. And that'll be dropped down. Team Philadelphia will be on a power play. Back over in the corner. Caden over to challenge it. Back over to Jimmy. Jimmy picks it back up. Centering pass. Picked up by Vuk. Oh, Vuk. Jimmy on the opposite side. Good stick lift. Back out to the point to Ricky. Puck drop back out, won by Team Philly. Centering pass, Vuk with a redirect, goes loose wide. Opposite side, back over to Caden. Caden tried to knock it down, pick back up. Back up to Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy was looking. Evan on the opposite side. Pick back up. Caden, try to get to it. Evan comes away with it. Centering pass. Jimmy knocks it back down. Picked up by Vuk. Back to Jimmy. Shot by Ricky. Kick save to the corner. Set all the way back. 15 seconds left on the power play for Team Philadelphia. Ricky picks it up, wheels with it. Gets tangled up. And that'll be a set on the face-off. Teague, Makuch, and Trent. Back out to McCooch, sends it over to Jacob. Jacob gets a shot off and knocked down in front of the net. Back over to Trent. Trent stuck up behind the net. Picks it back up. Defender gets away. Draws forward. Aiden with a kick save back into the corner. Teague over to help him out. Teague picks it up. Back all the way to Nolan. Oh, Nolan loses an edge, but gets back up again. Picked back up by Trent. Trent knocks it forward. Shot all the way back to Nolan, picks it up. Nolan gets around the defender, comes across. Cycles, gets a shot off. Shot attempt. Back out to the point. Luca tried to get a shot off. Knocked down in front of the net. Picked up. Battle in front of Duck's bench. Puck is still stuck. Now it comes out the backside. Goes over to Toby. Sungles around opposite side. Back over to Jake. Jake apparently goes off his skate the wrong way. Picked back up. Luca. Taps it over to Voot. Comes across. Nice centering pass. Just a little bit too far in front of Voot. Evan. Shot attempt off of Aiden's pad, goes back behind the net. Luca centers it back out to Vuk. Flying change. Picked up by Toby. Tried to get it over to Connor coming on the ice. Is picked off by Ducks. Now drop back down. Evan, there. Puck still floating out, opposite side. Centering pass back over to Evan, picks it up. Connor can't get by defender. Now it's picked up by Jimmy. Jimmy sends it to neutral ice. Toby picks it up across the blue line, sends it all the way deep. Back over to Connor. Connor taps it forward. Comes off his stick. Back over to Jimmy. Jimmy back out to the point to Toby. Back over to Jimmy. Jimmy centering pass, knocked down by a defender right in front of the goal. Picked up by Ricky. Ricky back over to Connor. Back over to Caden. Caden. And that's a score. Caden takes a shot, bounce off goaltender, back out front. Caden backhand over to Jimmy for goal 7. Drop, back over, sent forward, picked up. Jacob swipes it forward back over to Caden. Caden drops it back over to Connor. Connor across the blue line. Knocked back down. Jimmy back over to Connor. Ooh, Connor tried to get it back over to Keith. Sent around to the opposite side. Jimmy back out to the point to Jacob. Picked up by Ricky, back behind the net, centered back over to Caden. Caden Caden drops it back down over to Jimmy. Jimmy slaps it down. Comes across. Try to make his way through a defender. Is unable to do so. Gets pinned up against the wall. Knocked down. Puck's below them. Jimmy's trying to... Nice pass from the seat of his pants. Denny out on the ice. Try to tap it forward over the net. Back over to Caden. Caden. Ooh, that was a hook. Got a delayed offside. Aiden picks up, comes up, got an extra man off the ice. Kicks a back into the corner. Back over to Reed. Back over to Jacob. Still delayed offside. The penalty coming up. All the way over to the opposite side. That'll be picked up. Penalty on 40 for a trip. So Keithville will be on a power play for 2 minutes. Running clock. Picked up by Nolan. Opposite side, back over to Nolan. Nolan cycles it back over to McCooch. Ooh, McCooch swipes at it, loses it. Reed loses an edge. Oh my gosh. Back out to McCooch. Back over to Reed. Reed. Back out to the point. McCooch loses it off his stick. Aiden comes out of net to get it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't believe what I just saw. And Trent gets free with it. Tries to get a shot off, knocked down by the goaltender. I've never seen a stare from Coach Craig like that before. That was crazy. Back over to Ricky. Ricky turns it back over. And that was crazy. All right, 7-0, start of third period, running clock. Theatrics going on everywhere. Out on the ice, Trent T. McCooch, Toby, and Evan. Failed to identify that Bops isn't here today. Hope he's doing well. Back over. Cleared back up, still cleared up. Toby tried to push it forward. Sent deep, opposite side, picked up by McCooch. McCooch cycles back around opposite side, swings it back over to Toby. Toby sends it back up to Teague. Picks it back up to McCooch. Drop back forward over to Trent. And McCooch. Back out to Teague. Knocked down in front of the net. Ducks get it forward. Comes across. Aiden. Stick steer back into the corner. Back over to Toby. Toby sends it back opposite side to McCooch. Back up to Toby charging forward. Toby. Drop down in front. Jimmy with an attempt to get it there. That's picked back up. Back over to Longo. Longo. Centering pass. Attempt by Jacob. Crossing blue line. Back into the protective webbing. Nice save by Aiden. Back over the corner, Ricky. Makes a little move, back over to Jacob. Jacob gets around the defender, back over to Connor. Connor center pass. Now it's back in the neutral zone. Ducks pick it up. Back up to Ricky. Gets it over to Caden. Caden drops it forward. Connor. Oh, backhand goes just over his top of the goaltender. Picked up by Ricky. Drop back down, picked up. Connor can't quite handle it. Ducks pick it up. Line change for the Ducks. Oh, we got a roughing on Connor. So Team Philly beat down a man. Rolling clock. Jake, Vuk, Toby, and Nolan out on the ice. Back out to the point. Knocked back down by Jake. Good stick. Shot attempt. Pass goes back out front. Pulled back down, back to Nolan. Nolan tried to clear the zones, unable to do so. Toby back into the corner. Puck gets by Aiden on the other side. That should be an icing call. Shot attempt by the Ducks. Knocked down in front of the net. Picked up by Vuk. Vuk by himself against two players. Tried to make a move, lost it. Picked back all the way. Evan on the back check. Back along the boards. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob makes a move around. Again, try to make a move here. And it's even strength. Back over to Luca. Got Reed coming up the slot. Oh, puck just rolled to the right of the goal. All the way back out. Picked back up. Picked back up by Evan. Connor makes his way around. Gets a shot off. Knocked down by the goaltender. Back out to Reed. Another shot. And Connor, that's going to be a penalty coming up. That was a hit. Hopefully Connor's okay on that one. Man up for Team Philadelphia. Puck stop. Back over. Back over to Denny. Denny alongside the wall. Looking for a little bit of help. Lucas back over there with Reed. Reed centering pass back over to Lucas. Lucas top forward back over to Denny. Denny can't control it off the stick. Ricky tried to do a good job of keeping it in the zone. He's unable to do so. Picked back up by Nolan. Sent back out by Ricky. Ricky picked up by Reed. And a nice move by Nolan to get by at the 10-minute mark. Puck drop back over. Luca drops it forward. Puck gets picked up. That's back over. Aiden sends it back to opposite side. Toby picks it up, swings it around to the opposite. Jacob picks it clean, comes across. Got a man on him, comes across the blue line. Gets by. Centering pass, look for Vuk in the slot, unable to do so. Vuk picks it back up again, and now it's cleared back out. Picked up by Nolan, back. Cycle back over to Ricky. Ricky. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Luka back all the way against the wall. Offside. Back all the way to Ricky. Ricky. Third out to center ice by Evan. Evan tried to drop it forward. Good stick by Teague. Picked up by Nolan. Back over to Evan. Evan releases it. Back out. Evan comes across the blue line. He's got Teague on the opposite side. Drops it back into the opposite side. Makes its way all the way out. Jacob on the back check. Kicks it back in the neutral zone. Evan back over to put some pressure on it. Jacob. Longo tapped it. All the way back. Toby. Charging forward. Caden drops it back in. And into the protective webbing. Pucks back into the corner. Caden. Falls down, gets back up, picks a stick up. Picked up opposite side by Duck, centering pass. Toby is there on the defensive end to keep it still. Caden picks it back up. Trent back over. Sent all the way in. Aiden steers it back into the corners, back around the opposite side over to Jacob. Jacob gets it. Back over to Jimmy. Jimmy sent to opposite side, back over to Trent. Nice move. And goal comes off the net. Nolan, Evan, Lucas, Denny, Ricky. Third all the way out in the neutral zone. Ricky sends it back over to Nolan. Back over to Ricky. Tap forward. No icing. Back over. Denny opposite side looking. Cross ice pass. Picked up by Foster. Foster back into the corner. Back over to Lucas. Lucas picks it up. I don't know what just happened. I think his own player ran into him. Come all the way back. Ricky drops it in. Back over to Denny. Centering pass back over to Lucas to Reed. Sorry, to Foster. Back over. Foster drops it back over to Lucas. Lucas back over to Foster. Goes off the side of the net. Back check. Shot goes off a defender's skate. Oh my gosh. Face off. Back out to the point. Opposite side, sent in, back over to Luca. Luca. Take on the opposite side forecheck. Puck comes dwiggling out. Back over to Vuk. Vuk drops it back over to Luca. Jacob takes a shot, whiffs on it, then drops it back down into the corner. A minute, 30 seconds left in the game. Back over to Toby. Toby drops center ice. All the way back. Puck's all the way back. Nolan gets to it. Centers it back out to the point. Knocked down by Ducks defender. And scores. So 14 seconds left. 8-1.
Delaware Ducks goals for number 53, Eric Heinzelman, assistant number 58, David Clark.
And that's it. All right, so 8-1 victory by Team Philadelphia. So I hope you guys have a